watch this. Okay. I know it's been a little while since we've done one of these, but I wanted to come on this morning to do a session with you guys on the proper way to format your IWA, since we're nearing the end of this and we're going to be uploading them to the College Board page next week. So that's really what we're going to be working on today. Is I'm just going to walk through all the different things that you can do or should be doing with your IWA to make sure that it's formatted correctly. So what I highly recommend you do right now before we get started is have your IWA open and in front of you because you'll want to be making changes, you know, and kind of doing these things along with me rather than just sitting here watching me make these changes to a Word document. It'll be a whole lot easier, okay, if you're making changes right along with us. So I do highly recommend that you pull up your IWA right now, and you're probably going to want to make sure that you're in the desktop version of Microsoft Word as opposed to the online version, because if I remember correctly, when we were working on your IRRs, there were certain things that we had to do with the headers and stuff that couldn't be done in the online version. So you'll want to be in the desktop version of the program. So take a second right now and pull that up. I'm going to pull up an example and then we're going to go ahead and get started. And we're going to work through this fairly quickly. But remember that the video will be available for you. Okay. You know, the video is going to be posted online. You'll be able to watch this really like as many times as you want if you so desire. So you can go back, watch it again. You can pause it. You can do all of those things to make sure that you've got what you needed. Okay, I think for most of you, the trickiest part, right, is going to be the citations and the reference page. So that's what we'll try to spend most of our time this morning working on. Okay, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up an example right now, and then we'll get started. All right, so here we go. Okay, so this is a completed paper. Obviously, I'm using myself as an example here. I didn't want to use any of your work, so this is something that I did. All right, and so we'll start with the header, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at your headers. Remember that every paper needs a header, and the header on the first page is going to be different than the headers on your second page forward. So what we're going to do, okay, is if you're looking to insert a new header, so let me open up a blank document here, okay? So if I want to insert a new header, okay, I'm going to go up to the top of the page here, and I'm going to go up to my toolbar, okay, and I'm going to click on the Insert menu, which is up here at the top. For me, it's the third one over. It depends on which version of Word you are using. And then we're going to go down here and we're going to choose header, okay? Once I choose the header option, okay, this is what it's going to look like. Now, the next thing that you're going to have to click, once you get the header inserted, you're going to see a little dotted line there. Once you get the header inserted, you need to go over here near the top, and you're going to see an option to click a box that says different first page. It is very, very, very important that you click that box. The reason being, if you don't click that box, okay, Word is going to automatically make every header on every single page the same, and that's not what you want. You want the first page to be slightly different than the other pages, okay? So then what I'm ready to do, okay, is now I'm ready to go ahead and insert my text. On the first page, so on this page, the first thing that you're going to put into your header is going to be the words running head. Now, important here that you capitalize the R in running, but you don't capitalize the H in head. That's just one of those strange formatting things that they require you to do, okay, and I don't have an explanation for you. So you're gonna write the words running head. You're gonna put a colon, then you're going to press the space bar, leave a space, Then you're going to hit the caps lock button, okay? Because the title is going to be printed all in capital letters. And so then we're going to give the title of our paper. Let's say the title of my paper is The Effects, and I'm making this up, The Effects of Happiness on Academic Performance. Nobody's doing that, that's why it shows that, okay? So I type the title of my paper all in capital letters, okay? Now we're not done yet, okay? Because now we have to go and we have to insert the page number. So now we have to go. The way to insert the page number, okay, is we're going to press the tab key once. Depending on how long your title is, you may have to press it twice. But you want to press the tab key till you end up at the far right-hand margin here. So to your cursor is aligned with like a little white pyramid, okay, right over here. Once you do that, you're going to go over here and back up at the top, you're going to see this page number icon. You're going to click it so that it brings down a drop-down menu, and you're going to choose for the page number, current position, because you want to put the page number exactly where you are right now, and you just want the plain old number. And then it will automatically insert the page number right there for you. Okay, and then you have your first page header done. Question?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, you can.
How did you get a brand new page? Like, how would I do that?
You mean like to go to the second page?
No, like, because our papers, we don't have a blank first page, so how do I, like, add a page in the beginning? So
oh, like for your title page?
Yeah.
You can do, so there's two things you can do. Let me go back to the document that I already have completed. Okay, so let's say, for example, you don't have a title page. You want to make this page blank so you can put all of your information here. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So the easiest way to do that is going to be to just press the Enter key and move the text down, right, until it goes onto another page. That's going to be the easiest way for you to do it. The other way that you can do it is you can put the cursor on here, okay, and then if you go to, I believe it's format. Is it this one? No, that's the spacing. Okay, if you go to, is it design? Hold on, I'll tell you. The enter, no, it's not that. The enter key is going to be the easiest way. Oh, here it is. If you go to insert and you go to page break over here on the left and you click the page break button, it's going to automatically move everything down, and then you're going to have that blank page there.
Okay.
So either option is going to work. Okay. All right. So now we can start to look at, let me fix my spacing. We can start to look at here now how to format the title of our paper, okay? And so if I go back to my blank document, I'm now ready. So I've got my header. I can close out of the header and footer now. And now once I do that, it should take on a kind of a light gray color, which means right now I can't edit it, okay? So now I'm back in my regular document. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip down. So I'm going to press enter a few times, and I'm going to skip down till I get approximately aligned with the number 2, because you want to start your title at about the 2-inch mark. Okay, so I'm going to skip down till I get pretty close to the number 2, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to press the center button, okay, which is right up here, because I want my text now to be centered. So I'm going to press the center button, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to import my important information that I need. Now, there's some information that you would normally include on a title page that you don't need to include here, because you don't want to include anything that would personally identify you. Okay, so you can do it like we did back in December, when we made a barcode over your name and your school, or you can just choose to omit all of that information. It really doesn't matter. I found out that it's not going to affect your score either way. Before we start doing that though, we want to switch our line spacing to double spacing. And so what we're going to go back up to this menu right here, and just to the right of where the center option is, you'll see these two arrows, one pointing up and one pointing down. Okay, and we're going to switch that so that it says 2.0. 2.0 means that we are double spaced. Okay, we're skipping a line in between everything. So you want to make sure that the 2.0 box is checked. Okay, and then we're going to start to import our personal information. Now, here's the way it should look. I'm going to copy and paste this. Here's the way it should look if we were including everything. Notice you would start with the title. Okay, the title of this paper is The Effects of Happiness on Academic Performance. That's my title. Okay, so no matter what, you're going to put the title of your paper. This, notice, is not all in capital letters. Okay, you're now simply capitalizing the important words, which are going to be the first word, and then the significant ones. Notice I don't capitalize the second of or the on. Okay, so we have the effects of happiness on academic performance. Normally, next you would include your name. Okay, to make it easier for yourself, rather than having to go through and putting in the barcode, I would just delete that. Okay, then you're going to put the name of the class. Okay, so we're going to call this AP Capstone Seminar. Okay, then you would put the name of the school. Now again, if you want to go through and take the barcode and cover it up there, you can do that, but I think it's just easier just to delete it. Okay, then normally again you would have my name. Same thing, I would just delete that. And then we need to put the date. Today's date is May the 7th. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add in May the 7th. So if you're removing all of the identifying information, the only things you should have then on your title page would be the title, the name of the class, and then the date. Okay, and today's date is fine. You can put the date you finished it. The date itself really doesn't matter, just as long as there is a date there so that they know that you know the formatting. That's fine. Okay, and then we're finished with the first page. So now we need to go on to our second page. Now there's two ways that you can do this, and like I just showed Tanis a couple minutes ago, one way that you can do this is by just pressing enter, okay, until you get to the next page. So I can just keep pressing enter till my cursor goes to the second page. Or the other way to do this, if you don't feel like pressing enter, and it really doesn't matter either way, okay, is if you go to insert, okay, and you click over here on the left, the page break button, that's going to automatically take you to the top of the next page. So if I click that button, boom, all of a sudden my cursor is right on the top of the next page and it's already centered. You can do whichever one you want. It really, really and truly in that instance, it doesn't matter at all, okay? So now we're on to the second page. Before I get to my header, I'm going to show you the easy part here, which is because this is already centered, okay, we already have the cursor exactly where we need to be. What we have to do now is we're going to once again put in the title of our paper. The effects of happiness on academic performance. Notice I'm not using a bold font, okay? I'm not underlining anything. I'm not doing anything like that. I'm simply typing the title of my paper. It's already centered. I'm not changing the font. I don't need to do anything there. So we just put in the effects of happiness on academic performance, okay? Now we'll go and we'll fix our header. So now I'm going to go up here, and if I just double click on the gray area here where it says type here, I'll now be taken right into my header. Okay, so now I'm good to go. Now my header on the first page had the words running head at the top of it, right? Okay, but you're going to see that my header on the second page and beyond is not going to have that. It's just going to have a title and then the page number. So how do we do that? Okay, so we're going to go over here. I'm going to press my caps lock button again, and I'm going to again type the title of my paper, The Effects of Happiness on academic performance. Now notice this is all in capital letters. I'm still not bolding anything. I'm not underlining. I'm not choosing a fancy font or anything. Okay, this is just all in capital letters. And then just like before, we're going to tab over till I get to the end of the page. And so again, until my cursor lines up with that white pyramid, we're going to go up here to page number. We're going to go down to current position, and then we're going to choose just a page number. And then lo and behold, you will see that it is now automatically inserted the number 2 since this is page 2. Okay, and then what we can do is we can double click outside of that header box and it'll close that box, and it now brings us back to this page. So now I have the header on the first page, which is slightly different from the header on every other page. I have the title information up here in the middle, okay, even with the number 2. Notice again, I did not include any of my identifying information. Okay, you want this to be submitted completely anonymously so that when the reader grades it, they don't know who you are or where you're from. And then on the second page, I have my second page header, which is slightly different from the first, and then I have a title. Okay, and so now we can go ahead and we can begin, or we would begin putting in the body of our paper. Now, if you press enter, okay, it's going to take you to the next line, but right now you still have your text centered. You want to go back to the left. So what you're going to do now, okay, is you're going to go back up to the top here, and you'll see right here I have the cursor, or I have the box highlighted that will center the text. We're going to choose the one to the left of that, which is align left, and that's going to bump my cursor, okay, back so that it's even with the 2 white pyramids on that ruler. So now it's lined up here. Now we're ready to start typing. And so then I would begin with my introduction, okay? And so because it's a paragraph, we're going to go ahead and press the tab key to indent, and then I would begin typing my introduction just right here, okay? And then what it'll do is as I continue to type, when the text needs to go on to another line, you will see that it does so automatically, okay? It automatically keeps the first line of the paragraph indented, and then it pushes every line thereafter back to the left-hand side. So now you're ready to go. Now, when you finish with the paragraph and you want to start another paragraph, all you do, you press enter, obviously, and then you press the tab key. And then your second paragraph starts here, okay? So now you're good for that formatting. Now let's talk about when you have an in-text citation. So I'm going to go back to my example, okay? So let's say I've got my paper, okay, and I want to include an in-text citation. Let me find one here that I can use, because these are all cited from laws. Okay, so I want to find one that I can show you that's from an actual text. Like the ones I cited in this particular example are all state laws. Like here I cited the Florida statute, but I'm going to pull one up where I can show you an actual source that was cited. Let's go to here. I think there's one here. Okay. Here we go. All right, so if I pull this up, I want to find a better example for you, sorry. Here we go. Okay, so let's say I have this sentence in my paper, okay? Researchers conducted a series of longitudinal studies around 2 central questions. What was causing chronic absenteeism in American schools, and what effect do school and community partnerships have on student attendance? Okay, so I'm going to copy and paste that. So let's say I've included that sentence in my document, okay? Now, if I need to add a citation, so this is something, I mentioned a bunch of studies around these two questions. If I'm going to say something like this in my paper, I need to include a citation. Okay, and so what I would need to do is at the end of that sentence, okay, I'm going to go ahead and insert a parentheses. Then I'm going to put the name of the author or authors of the study. Let's say it's only one person. So let's say it's just Epstein, okay? So I put Epstein. Then I'm going to put the year that the study was published, which was 2002. Okay, another comma. Then I'm going to put the page number. Now we just write the letter P with a period. And then let's say this came from page 234 of the study. I would just put page 234. Then I would close the parentheses. And then I would put the period. Okay, and so then I have everything that I need. Now, let's say there were multiple authors in this study. Let's say there were 2 people. So I would put Epstein, and then let's say the other person's last name was Mifflin, and I'm making that up. Whoops. And I'm making that up. But let's say that their name was Mifflin. So I would just put Epstein and Mifflin. Notice for the and, okay, I use the symbol. I don't write out the word and. We use the it's called ampersand, okay? And you can get that into your text by holding down the Shift key and pressing the number 7. So Shift 7 will give you that little and symbol, okay? Now, if there were 3 authors to the study, okay, so let's say it was Epstein, Smith, and Mifflin. Okay, I would put the authors' names in according to how they are listed on the study, not necessarily alphabetically, because Epstein's name being first indicates to me that he or she was the primary author of this study. So I always list the names the way they're listed on the study. Now, let's say you have more than 3 authors. So let's say there's 4 or 5 or 6 authors, as some of you have encountered. You're not going to list every single author of the study. You're simply going to go like this. We're going to delete the names. Okay, and so we're going to leave it as Epstein and then ET period all, and then the year and then the page number. So now we know that we are citing a study written by Epstein and a whole bunch of other authors or researchers from the year 2002, and then it's page 234. Okay, and that's what your in-text citations will look like. Again, always list the primary author first, okay? Whoever the main author of that study is. It's not necessarily going to be alphabetical, and that's important, okay? Now, some of the things that you're going to cite might be websites, okay? Or they might not be articles that have an author, okay? And so that's okay. So for example, here, I'll pull this one up. So for example, okay, if one of the sentences in my paper is this: Florida law requires that we spend a specific number of hours every year teaching age-appropriate bullying prevention in every grade for approximately 10 hours a semester, okay? If that's the sentence and you want to cite the law, in this case, that requires that, okay, I would simply just put the abbreviation of the law. So that's Florida Statute 1006.147. There's no author, there's no year, okay, and there certainly isn't a page number. So I'm just putting that relevant information there, okay? Or maybe you have something, like maybe you're citing a website, okay? Let me just pull a random sentence. Okay, so let's say this is information in this sentence that I pulled off of a website, and I want to cite a website. Okay, let's say the website is the Florida Department of Education. All I need to type in parentheses here is the Florida Department of Education. That's it, if it comes off of a website. So if you're citing something from the Department of Homeland Security, or you're citing something from the Health and Human Services, okay? If it's just information you got off the website, you would do it like this. Now, if I was on the Florida Department of Education website and I found a specific article or a specific study there, I wouldn't cite it like this, okay? If I found a specific study on a website, I would cite it like this, where I put the author's name and everything. Okay, because you could go to the Department of Education website and you're going to find general articles that don't have an author. You're also going to find specific studies which need to be cited the proper way. So it all just depends on the kind of information that you are trying to cite and what you have available to you. What is very, 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 very important is that anytime you have an in-text citation, whether it's this or this or this or whatever it happens to be, the first thing that the reader is going to look for, literally the first thing that they're going to look for, okay, is they're going to go and make sure that every in-text citation has a reference on the reference page. So that should be something like that you should be going over your paper with line by line to make sure that every reference or every citation you have in the paper corresponds to a citation on the reference page. All right, and so now let's say I'm getting to the end of my paper. So I get to my conclusion. Okay, so this is my concluding paragraph. Okay, and I'm all done with my paper now. Okay, I'm ready to go to my reference page. Your references should always start on a new page. Okay, they should always start on a brand new page. And so once again, we have two ways to do this. We can keep pressing enter till we get to the top of the next page, or again, we can go over to insert. We can click the page break button and it will take us to the new page. And notice again, every time we go to a new page, my header is already there and it has the correct page numbers, okay? So now we're on to my reference page. I'm gonna go ahead when I get to the reference page, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to make sure that I have my text at this moment in time centered, okay? And I'm going to write the word references. Don't highlight it, don't bold it, don't underline it. You're just gonna write the word references. You're going to press enter, and then you're going to go back to the left alignment. Okay, so now we're going to shift back to the left alignment. And now I'm gonna start to type in my references. Okay, so let me go over here. I'm gonna copy and paste these. So then I'm going to begin to make sure that my references are formatted correctly. Now, we don't need the word references twice. Okay, so now, first thing you need to check for when you're setting up the reference page, you need to make sure that all of your references are in alphabetical order, not the order that you use them in the paper. Okay, notice how mine are all in alphabetical order, starting with an article that was written, or starting with a presentation that was done by Les Black. Okay, and then you'll see that it moves from Black to bullying to Florida to School District of Osceola County. Okay, so this is where you would copy and paste your references. Now, let me add a couple more from this other paper, just so I can show you what to do or how to move things around. All right, so I'm gonna add 3 more references and I'm gonna purposely put them out of order so I can show you how to put them in order. So let's say you have your references and you just now realize that you have some of them out of order. Okay, so I know right now that my Epstein reference is in the wrong spot. So I'm gonna highlight the reference. I'm gonna click Control X. That's gonna cut it. It's gonna temporarily delete it, okay? That was Epstein, so it's gonna go between B and F. So I'm gonna leave a space between the two and I'm just gonna paste it in there. And then I'm gonna make sure that I don't skip any extra spaces. So now I've got my Epstein in the correct spot, but I also have to get Gase in there as well. That's in the wrong spot, so I'm gonna highlight it. I'm gonna do Control X to cut it, and then I'm gonna Control X to cut it, and then Control V, excuse me, to paste it now. And then I'm gonna fix, what did it just do? I didn't do that right. Oh, that's why. Okay, because my cursor was in the wrong spot. There we go. And then I'm gonna paste it back in. Okay, so now I've got almost everything in alphabetical order. I just need to get this last one, which is more. So that begins with M So he's going to go between G and S. And I'm going to paste him right in there. So now I have everything in alphabetical order, okay? Now what you have to do is you have to be making sure that you're following the rules of APA formatting to make sure that you have everything formatted correctly. So for example, let's say you are using a study, okay? We'll go with this Epstein study, okay? So if you're formatting a study or a research article, okay, an article you found online, something like that, your formatting is going to look pretty much like this. You're going to start with the author's names. Again, make sure that you're using the primary author first. Use the ampersand for and then the second or the third author. If it's more than three, okay, then it would be at, or if it's more than four, excuse me, then it would be at all, okay? And so we go like this, okay? Then there is a period, okay? Then you insert a parentheses, and then you put the year of the study. So if this study or this article came out in 2002, I put the year, okay? I close the parentheses, I leave a space, and then I type the title. Now, really important about the title. The first word is always capitalized, in this case, present, and then nothing else is capitalized unless you have text after a colon. So notice I have present and accounted for. The only word there that is capitalized is present. Then I have my colon. Then I have improving student attendance through family and community involvement. And so the only thing there that is capitalized is going to be the I in improving, okay? So the title of our study comes next, present and accounted for, improving student attendance through family and community involvement. Next comes the name of the journal that I got it from, or the name of the academic journal, the peer-reviewed page, or whatever it happens to be. That comes next, okay? And then finally, I would tell you where, then I would put the page number or page numbers. So like in this case, this happened to only be a single page. But if you look down here at this study right here, this was 299 to 320, so it was 21 pages. So you put the page numbers, and then you're going to put the words, if you got it offline, you would put the words retrieved from, and then you would just copy and paste the website or the URL as to where you got this from. Now, for most of these things, okay, for most of these journals, there's going to be somewhere on the page where it will cite it for you, depending on which academic journal you are using. If you use ProQuest, it's going to give you the citation. If it doesn't give you a citation, again, the easiest place to do it, or to get the correct citation, the easiest way to do so is going to be to go to the Purdue OWL page and make sure that you're choosing APA as your formatting. Okay, so if you go to the page there, make sure that you are choosing APA. Now, what's a little bit tricky about this page is that you're going to get there, okay, and you're going to see right here, and it's going to say cite your source automatically in APA. And this is what kind of bothers me about this, because this has nothing to do with the Purdue OWL page. This is an advertisement that is running here, okay? And what's going to happen is, like, you're going to put in a web address, okay? And I'm going to click cite, okay? And it's going to basically take you to this other page here, and it's not going to give you the citation that you want, okay? It's going to give you a whole bunch of information, and it's going to want you to pay for the actual citation, okay? And so you don't want that. So just be careful with that, okay? Because this citation machine here has nothing to do with the page, okay? And so what you'll need to do, okay, is you'll need to scroll through, and here you go. You can find the sources over here on the left, how you're going to cite things, okay? So let's say you're citing a periodical, you're citing an electronic source, You know, whatever it is, a book. I mean, if you're using a book, hold on, there's a question that just came up in the chat. Let me see what it is. So, okay, David says it is free. So, you know, if you want to go through that, just please understand, I'm glad that it's free, and I'm not saying that you can't use it. In fact, you totally can. Just understand that it is not endorsed by Purdue OWL. This is something separate from them, and so I can't vouch for you as to the accuracy of their citation, because it is a separate page. Anything that you find on the actual Purdue OWL page, that is accurate. Okay. But what I was saying here is, like, if you click on the left here, okay, and you click whatever it is that, if you close the ad, there you go, you click whichever of these you're trying to find, okay, if you click it, it'll then appear over here on the right how to do it. So like the electronic journal that I just showed you, okay, here is the format for that citation, and you'll notice it's already in that same format. So we have the author's names, we have the year, we have the title. Notice that only the first words, you know, the first word is capitalized, and then the first word after the colon is also capitalized. Okay. What if the title of the source has capitalized letters that aren't at the beginning or after a colon? Do you want us to do it that way, or do it as is? The only time you would capitalize a title in the source would be if it was the name of a place. So like, for example, if this says data and experience design, negotiating community-oriented digital research in Florida, you would capitalize the F in the word Florida. Otherwise, you only capitalize the first word and then the first word after the colon, okay? But proper nouns are always capitalized no matter what. Okay. Cody wants to know, tell Cody I already responded to him, okay? And he'll have to wait. Okay. So again, you always capitalize, okay? Only proper nouns, and then again, the first word and the first word after a colon, okay? But you know, if you're unsure of how to cite something, just come to this page and figure out which one of these things that you want. Okay, so audiovisual media, this is going to cover like YouTube videos. So let's say you find a video on YouTube that you're using. Okay, that's going to cover it right here. And you'll see there is a whole separate, there is a special one for a YouTube video. I know a couple of you used a movie. Okay, here's how you would cite a movie. Okay, and so you know, obviously I don't have all of these memorized. When I write a paper, I come to this page too, and I look for the type of citation that I need. So off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you how to cite every single possible source. Okay, you're gonna have to come to the Purdue OWL page, and you're gonna have to find these things, because again, I don't have them memorized. Okay. Let me see. This page also has some information, like if you want to review how to do your in-text citations, okay, that's on there as well too. We're not doing footnotes, we're not doing endnotes, you don't have to worry about those. But this is going to be your go-to place, and this is going to be the easiest place for you to come to make sure that you have your sources cited correctly. Okay. All right, so let me come back here. And so now is the time, if you have questions, now would be your time to ask them. So let me go ahead and open it up now. If anybody has any questions about anything that we just talked about with citations, anything at all, or with formatting, anything at all I can do to help you with your formatting? No? Okay. All right. So what I want you to do then for the remainder of the week, okay, is you want to go through your paper in that final draft folder, and you want to make sure that you make any necessary corrections, make any changes to your citations, you know, any changes to your formatting. Use the rest of the time this week to make those kinds of changes. Like I said, if you need to rewatch the video, I'm going to post it this afternoon. Go to the Purdue OWL page if if you want to look through all the different citations there. Send me a message either on Teams or on Remind or through email if you have specific questions. But make those changes to your final draft. Make those changes to the format because on Tuesday, when we sit down for our lesson, Tuesday is going to be the day that we're going to upload. Okay, so Tuesday will be the day that I'm going to walk you through adding this to your portfolio so that we can upload this with your final draft. Okay, so we will again have a class on Tuesday. I will see you then. And like I said, you know how to reach me if you have further questions. All right. So if there aren't any other questions, have a great day, guys, and I will see you all later on. Goodbye.